purpose of this talk is to answer questions such as, how does the inner self function? How can we conduct our life with full awareness and mindfulness? What are the circumstances and objects in relation to self? What is ultimate happiness? So this talk will introduce us to a novel scientific approach to inner transformation and shed light on knowing our pure self. The speaker for this talk is Deepak Anandji. Deepak Anandji has a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. He has several years' experience working in the cement and petrochemical industry. From early childhood, he had an inclination to be a scientist. He received self-realization to the grace of self-realized holistic scientist Sri M. Patel in 1983. Since then, he has pursued his dream to work selflessly to spread the message of holistic science for the upliftment of the humankind. He has devoted his entire life to study holistic science and visit rural areas and cities in India, USA, UK, Canada, UK, Europe, Africa, Australia, and New Zealand to spread the scientific understanding of life through holistic science. Please help me in welcoming Deepak Anandji.
Hello. Jai Jinendra, and welcome to the most difficult session of the day. You know why? After lunch, it is very difficult to keep awake. And that too after such a wonderful lunch. Although people said it was light, but I don't know. Let us see. So on this topic today, on holistic science and integral living. We have to see today on the unique tools of purposeful, happy, harmonious, and rich inner living. And my topic is discovering the world within for a rich inner living. In fact, Dr. Shailesh Anandji has covered very briefly some of the topic. He has gone a little deeper. We will evaluate certain other aspects of that. We want to understand what really discover means. These are the dictionary meaning, but here what we want to understand, to learn about for the first time in one's experience. Why we want to say we have been talking about Vitrag, Vignan, holistic science. People say, I know everything. હું બધું જાણું છું પણ થતું નથી. There's a very good saying, information is not knowledge. જાણકારી જ્ઞાન નથી, સમજણ એ જ્ઞાન છે. Understanding is knowledge. So we may be knowing, but that knowledge or knowing we really refer to as information. We all know several things, but it will come into practice naturally when we understand it. For example, the day I came to know that I am having kidney stone and I have serious problem, all that contributes to its aggravation, I stopped. There are other things. People, they don't eat non-vegetarian. Many don't eat. And here the crowd, I understand, they don't eat. So, if they go out and maybe they are looking for ice cream, hey, come on, don't be very fussy about it. If you want me to eat ice cream, I need to know what is there in the ice cream. And if you can't tell me what is there in the ice cream, I don't want to eat ice cream. What does this mean? This speaks our conviction. So, knowledge refers to conviction. When that conviction is there, you don't have to worry about it. Wherever you are there, that conviction will keep you alert. You won't worry about how others will feel. Of course, you won't be all that arrogant also in your dealing, but you'll be very clear in your dealing because you know what you really want. For example, the day I came to know that just for information, most of the corn available in the world today are all GMO. What does GMO mean? I don't know. How many people here, they don't know about GMO? Only you? Everyone knows? Then if you don't know, better raise your hand. Because the moment I tell you something about GMO, you will jump from your seat. They have crossed the corn with some vague animal gene. And that stuff we are eating. Heavily, nicely, lavishly we are eating and enjoying that stuff. Eno chevdo bahut saro lago. Mane pan saro lagto to, but the day I heard about that GMO and the outcome of the result of eating the GMO stuff, I said I better keep away from it. So, this is what, the moment you come to know that conviction itself will stop your actions. What we talked about intention and attitude, it relates to that only. So further, well, we know that the outside world, but you know, a wonderful revelation. In fact, we can talk and we can say that it's a revelation from the holistic scientist, but when those words come out from that experience state, it hits our head and it never leaves our head. It talks. Does not talk, we experience that and we start living those principles. So here it is said that the world outside is ditto picture of our world inside. Where is the world inside? Where is the world inside? So this is what we are going to understand. Rich, or we refer to richness as some monetary gain, but really it does mean a monetary gain, but really what we understand is meaningful and substantial, what you really get when you start living rich inside. And we know that it's not outer. So it's like what goes on in our mind, nobody can know. But all our expression and eyes, they definitely talk more than what we speak. So this, what we are talking, the holistic living is totally at the inner level. That is why it is said that holistic inner living, Vitrag Vignan, also relates to our inner living only. Why? Why is it so? The reason is, what we are living today, what we see people doing outside, is something which is dead. How would you like that? Nobody will like that. The reason is what we see around is just action of a machine. Like how a robot is working, same way our bodies are working. In fact, our inside is also working in the same way. the living part, what you call a Jeev part, is totally different. And unless you know that, understand it, with total conviction, you won't be able to live inside. You will always insist on things outside, on actions, on etiquette, and whatnot. So here we relate to that inner rich living with that inner understanding. Understanding is very important. Once understood, action will follow naturally. Okay, we also talked about that bhav thing. Bhav relates to our living aspect. And kriya relates to that, sorry to say, dead aspect. That doesn't mean we have to ignore that. So, someone can say, so whatever way I behave, how does it matter? It's a dead thing. Okay, it's a dead thing. Get out and do that. Not here. You understand? If I want to do something wrong, I can relate that it's a dead thing. Why do you worry about that? The living part is not there. Okay, I don't disagree. Go outside and do all that stuff. Meaning, wherever we need to say something, you have to be very clear and loud, what the professional people say. When you want to say something assertive, be very clear and loud. So that's what it means. The living part, although it is inside, we have to understand that. That's what we will see, how we live inside. So outside living in the form of action or behavior, how can we achieve that inner living and outer achievement of perfection? One more aspect, what we are aware of that through lives of Lord Krishna, Lord Mahavira, all those great people. Why or how could they achieve that perfection? Was that result of the same life? Quickly. No. It was the result of hard work of several lives. The outcome of that hard work was that they met a fully enlightened soul some 3 lives back. That's how they become a Tirthankara. Unless we know these information or we get to know this, we don't unnecessarily get into that botheration of improving ourselves overnight. So we start working inside. That's it. Okay. One of the point was, how does the inner self function? Who do we understand as the inner self? And what is the outer self? What we see outside is outer self. Our body behavior is outer self. And our inner self, what we call as Antaskaran and Bahyakaran. So we will try to understand how things happen in our inner self. It gets reflected on our outer self. Anything, this whole building which was made, that it was first put on a paper. It was there on the drawing, and that's how it finally came as realization into picture. Same way, how things work inside, and the result of that working inside gets reflected outside. We have basically 4 things. Although it is one thing only, but when it works differently based on its functionality, it is identified as mind. When it does the function of thinking. Intellect, the same thing is intellect when it is working to make a decision or to see things beyond its happening. What do you call that as perception? Reflective consciousness, what you call as chit. We are all familiar with pure consciousness. In the sense, pure consciousness relates to our pure soul, that is the God within us. And reflective consciousness refers to the wandering consciousness which wanders within our body and it wanders outside also. The most beautiful part of the holistic scientist is that for him, this reflective consciousness never leaves his body. Never leaves his body. We can't even think of that situation because most of the time our reflective consciousness is always wandering outside and inside also. But for him, it always remains within his body. Excellent part. But that is the outcome of his hard work for generations, for lives together. And speech, the inner and outer both, it was revealed by him as a tape record only. That which was recorded previously gets played out depending on the situation, depending on the circumstances, depending on individuals we interact with. It's like when you deal with your father, with our father, you're always talking and dealing in a different way. The moment you shift over to your friend, your speech changes, your behavior changes, everything. Also, with mom, things are very different. You're very casual and informal with mom, but with dad, you're always very formal, very protective. We all know that. That is a national thing. So, in one of the understanding what the scientist revealed, how does he deal with his speech? He says that I am not the speaker. He is not the speaker. The tape record speaks. He remains as observer and knower of the speech. He is spoken out. The audience is the listeners. People who have come to see him, they are the listeners. The tape record is the speaker. And he remains as observer and knower. Indirectly, he tells us that we also need to live our life with this realization. But without this realization, we always focus on what others are doing. And we remain totally unaware of what is being spoken. And the effect of word itself is so deep that whatever we speak, it has its effect. In fact, whatever has affected till now, it is because of our speech only. Because the moment you speak, our opinion gets inscribed into our mind. This science of mind was also revealed by the holistic scientist. So this is just to give a very brief understanding. Our five senses gather information. Based on that information, our mind pops up. You get thoughts. Depending on the type of the thought, our reflective consciousness gives tangible information. Depending on the intellect, what it favors, either the mind or the reflective consciousness, a decision is made, and once decided, the egoism follows. In the sense, our action can be seen outside. I give you a very quick example. Although you have just had your lunch and had water and everything, you are thirsty. So, how do you come to know that you are thirsty? The senses in our stomach say that, man, I am thirsty now. This is the time. We just finished our lunch, but I am thirsty. So, immediately, our reflective, you get the thought that I am thirsty. The reflective consciousness moves outside and says, oh, water is there, all the way over there. Now, if I get up, I will miss this wonderful conversation which is going on. Never mind. I'm not drinking water now. So, intellect evaluated the situation and said, you're not drinking water. Nothing is going to happen. So, moment it is decided you're not going to drink water, things stop and you continue listening. But there is really some serious problem when your stomach is really empty and it is wanting water. So again, after 15-20 minutes, the thought comes because of the information you are thirsty. Again, that evaluation comes, but this time the intellect evaluates a bit differently. See, thirst, hunger, bathroom, they are all natural happening. So if you don't follow these natural instincts, you get diseases. So people, you might have heard that if you don't follow these natural instincts, you get kidney stone and so many other problems. So you may recollect with the thought that about kidney stone and all that, the reflective consciousness may show someone you had seen previously the way he was in pain because of the kidney stone. So, I don't want to do that. Just 2 minutes. I will go and drink water. The decision is made, you go and drink water and come back. So this is how things work inside. And regarding the speech, it is said it is a mere part only, inside and outside. Holistic science has given a wonderful way to deal with our speech because it is said, it is revealed that speech is the biggest leakage of our soul energy. So if word is taken care, our world will be taken care. So it is said that the very word generates the world outside. So if someone takes care of his words, his world is very well taken care. How does the inner self function? Okay, it is a wonderful revelation. Again, the world functions based on instrument and instrumentality aspect only. In Gujarati it means Jagat Nimit Naimitik Rite Chale Che. There is no party other than the Nimit and the Naimitic aspect. That is instrument and instrumentality aspect. Although this is a very simple sentence or phrase, but it has the ultimate meaning. If this phrase gets digested within us, we'll get liberated. But these are the words of the experienced one which needs a lot of analysis and understanding. Here the science of circumstances is revealed. Why things happen. There was a question, why me? So that's how why things happen in our life gets answered by this simple phrase. The instrumentality aspect are the causes inside, and instrument is the limit outside, the individual or circumstance outside. Regarding the normal scientific approach for inner transformation, we know all this is happening. How can I bring the change within me? As we have said, the outside actions are nothing but mechanical actions, but what we feel and what we decide inside, we should make use of the power of our decision. In fact, your decision has brought you here. If you would not have decided to attend this seminar, you would have been somewhere else. Not only that, but with that decision, the other aspect, circumstances were favorable. That's how you are here. Like what he said, the car is not well, you are not well, someone else gets sick at home and you cannot come, you cannot make it. This is what it is. So, regarding the inner approach, why it is said scientific, the reason what we feel and what we decide inside is our living aspect, and what happens outside is nothing but reflection of that decision inside. So decision making inside is our free will, and what happens outside is the fate or destiny. So we are the maker of our destiny, no one else. किसी ऊपर वाले ने हमारे लिए पत्रिका में लिखा नहीं था, ऐसा बताते हैं. How can we conduct our life with full awareness? Just to be aware of this fact, A lot of discussion is going on nowadays in the world about mindfulness. And even Ruchir brought it out very nicely, how to eat, and it's only our tongue that knows, our stomach has no information of what we have eaten. So mindfulness while eating, presence of mind we had said. But presence of mind means, it's very difficult to understand. Mindfulness relates or refers to what is being eaten in the form of, we concentrate on the taste, the 6 different tastes what he described. We focus on that, and based on that, our juices get secreted inside and the digestion takes place. In the same way, like how Rakesh Bhai is taking my video, I am supposed to be mindful about my actions. In the same way, what is being spoken outside and inside, I remain mindful of what is being spoken inside. And the way, while we are driving, we are continuously watching the road and traffic through the 3 mirrors we see around. And you're driving. You have control over the steering, you have control over acceleration and brake. And that's how we reach our destination. Otherwise, the car is just moving around. It just starts moving. But with this control, we reach our destination. In the same way, our destination is of permanent happiness. And with the understanding what we gather from the holistic science, it will be possible to attain that effortlessly. We're not talking about any effort, any finance. This is what was said in the morning by Dr. Shailashananji. It is not needed. Really, it is not needed. We will understand the definition and understanding of finance and all those difficult words which we just want to keep away from it many a times. It's nothing but it's a natural happening without any kind of trouble or disturbance. So mindfulness, we need to practice. We do practice. That's why we never get dashed with the wall. We stay in a house which is always surrounded by walls. But in our lifetime, I don't know whether we ever dash with any of the walls. But we are not mindful dealing with people. So every other moment we dash with them, we clash with them, with difference of opinion. So further, we will try to understand, we talk about circumstances and object. Here we relate to I and my, what Dr. Shailashananji highlighted. It's a wonderful revelation also over here by holistic scientists. It is said I plus or with my is our wandering state, our ignorant state. And I, when it is without my, that is ownership free, I state, is supreme bottom state. So there is no change that takes place, only our belief changes and we will experience the same supreme bottom state within ourselves. Although it looks, if it was so simple, why so much of trouble and so many different paths? But truly, when we come across a living holistic scientist, it becomes very simple. Very simple. We can gather that as an example of Lord Mahavira. He met an enlightened soul 3 lives back, and the outcome was he got liberated. And in that last life, he simply remained observer and knower of what was happening to Vardhaman. That's all. That was his Mahavira state. And that state we get very easily, but it is only out of grace. So, the name which we have gathered through our childhood process, and we have identified ourselves as name, is considered as the biggest blunder of our life. Due to that first wrong belief, that name as I am, so many other wrong beliefs get generated, and we go into a vicious cycle of suffering and suffering and suffering. And when, through the grace of holistic scientists, we get to know ourselves, who you are, then we get freed from the entanglement of ownership and stewardship both. And that's how we emerge as Supreme Court state with total experience. With total experience. And that's how it remains to be done. That's what, once you know, I may know who I am through scriptures, through reading, through discourses like this on self-realization, through books, through yoga, but then unless you meet a living scientist who transforms our state of being from I am the name to who really I am, that initiation doesn't start for our liberation. And then it's a natural thing to attain that liberation which is totally free from opinion state. And that is why I said, having met a fully enlightened person who is holistic in nature, that initiation definitely ends into total freedom. And that itself is our ultimate happiness, because the happiness or suffering or unhappiness what we come across out of circumstances, they're all temporary. It's like the day doesn't remain forever, the night doesn't remain forever. That way, happiness and unhappiness, it just keep switching, come and go, come and go. What we seek is permanent happiness, and that permanent happiness can only come when we attain that dharma, what Dr. Shailajani talked about, who we really are. And once known who we really are, then we get installed in that dharma state which opens our ultimate happiness, permanent happiness. You will be able to take all circumstances in a balanced way, because circumstances become the temporary issue and you become the permanent state. There is a saying where people say that my soul is wandering, but it's a wonderful revelation done by holistic scientists that it is egoism that is born, it is egoism that dies, and it is egoism that wanders. The soul has no problem at all. The soul, what is in the siddha state and what is here in the bonded state, that state remains the same. But the state of egoism changes on realization. So once realized that egoism goes, and finally when total egoism gets eliminated, we get liberated. So it's a wonderful revelation. That's how the perpetual pure soul relates to our liberation. Having once known who you are, our life becomes very simple. You could be a householder, a grahasti, but your householder life will not come in your way of progress. Absolutely. Because you will live your life with total devotion and sincerity to the principles of the holistic science, without any burden, it won't come in your way at all, and the life becomes totally dramatic. We talk about dramatic way of life, superfluous way of life, but then you will start living that life. And just to summarize, experience opens only by a living exemplary holistic science. Vitrak Dada Bhagwan was there, Kanu Dadaji is there. Srimad Rajchandraji had said to indicate and name the person, because he is the one who can show you the way. He was the one. So you better see, because lifetime photo of the original person is very difficult to have. Like we don't have lifetime photo of Lord Mahavira because of the time aspect. This is today's holistic scientist, Kanu Dadaji. Thank you. Jai Satchidanand, Jai Kirtan.
So we have some time for questions.
You said stay free from opinion state.
What is it?
Yeah, what does that mean?
What we mean, there is a wonderful revelation again. There are only two things in this world, in this universe. Pure soul and circumstances. Atma and sanjogo sivai triji koi vastu nathi. The concealment of the third thing, imagination of the third thing is nothing but our opinion. And it is because of that opinion we wander, we have to wander. So once through scientific vision we understand and realize that there are only these two things, whatever is the circumstances, but we are bounded and filled with so many opinions. Good dress, bad dress, man, woman, kids, this is good, this is bad. All those are nothing but circumstances only. And the way pure soul is same everywhere, the same way circumstances or what we see, the worldly manifestation is identical. Although they look different outside, but inside is the same.
Any other questions? So I have a question.
Yes,
Amit.
Start, please.
So you talked about the how the inner self machinery functions, the mind, ego, reflective consciousness.
Yeah.
So why is it important to understand the functioning of the inner self?
Very good, very good. Okay. Normally, there is a tendency for it to work in that order, in that manner. Where is the break-even point? How will you change? So, through realization, we learn how to handle that situation. And even without realization, with this understanding, it's like you will have a certain kind of inclination of doing things, but then you know through your foresight and understanding and experience of life that this is going to lead me to that disaster only. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And you make a decision, you ask for that inner strength, and you don't. See, our tendency is that, I'm telling you, it is going to happen. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. Don't say that. Say, I want to make it. I want to make it. And whoever you believe in, ask for that strength. You are totally changing the situation. Okay? So, although the tendency was for it to happen in a particular way, you're not favoring that. You understand? Because the way we speak, it happens. That is what they have brought it out in the secret thing. So, even other people, they say, whatever you want to do in your life, read that stuff every morning, the moment you get up 5 times every day, especially in the morning. Remind yourself what Aristotle has said. Remind yourself that you want to do this. In fact, if someone has achieved, he has not done anything consciously, but it has happened consciously. You understand? Like, you were very clear that you have to attend this program. That's how you are here. Because it's a Saturday, Sunday, and a summertime. So there are so many other programs which you would like to attend. But no, you made a decision, I have to go, I have to go. That's why even they say, when they pass on the information, update your Google Calendar. Something like that. Make your appointment for the day so that you don't miss it. And they also say that we will remind you via email that, okay, you have the program tomorrow, don't miss the program. That's it.
All this understanding and all boils down, you must have a goal, and that goal, like you said, you must write 50 times when you wake up, I want to be happy, I want to be happy, I want to be happy.
I do that my own way. to remind myself of the science by the revelation, by remembering the scientist. It's the only way.
નથી થતું એને બોલે થાય છે શું એ કરે આપણે
થાય છે નહીં, મારે કરવું છે.
ફોકસમાં
No
રાખે
matter what, I want to do it.
So every day નો મંત્ર તો એવો જ જોઈએ મારે આનંદ જોઈએ આનંદ
See,
જોઈએ.
just we'll take examples, simple example. Things that happen naturally in our life, like we never forget to bath every day. It's impossible. And the day you have not taken bath, it's like it keeps you pinching inside. Come on, today I didn't bath, today I didn't bath, today. The other day, all my life, that day I couldn't take bath and it was very difficult. Right? But imagine what decision is made that it makes us bath every day. So that way, our decision will also become such that we live as a holistic way. And that is common in every individual.
Any other? Okay, thank you, Deepak. We have a question.
You wanted to ask?
કે મોક્ષ થાય તો એ આપણા પર જૈનોમાં થાય કે યહૂદીઓમાં થાય ઇસ્લામમાં થાય તો બધાને બી સિદ્ધોમાં એ રસ્તો તો સિદ્ધ થતા હશે તો સિદ્ધોની સંખ્યા બી વધે જાય તો એ બધાનો થાય કે ના થાય કે
બધાનો જ થાય પણ બધા 12મા પછી કોલેજમાં જાય ને 12મા પહેલા કોલેજમાં ના જાય ને આપણે ત્યાંથી જ જઈને આવેલા છે પણ આપણને ખબર નથી જે 12મામાં આવે તે 5મું 6ઠું 8મું બધું કરીને આવે ને તે all these different religions are nothing but standards, grades, which everyone have to pass through. We already passed through, and that's why we talk about non-violence, Vitrag Vignan, Tirthankar, moksha and all that. They don't have that language at all. But everyone talks about happiness. That is there. So that's why Srimad Rajchandra has said, Sarva Jiv Siddha Sam Ye Samjayate Thai. So they are in that process of understanding. They are gathering information, they are gathering understanding. We are also on the same path, but a little on a higher side that we understand non-violence, we talk about ahimsa, we don't want to hurt anyone. That's the thing.
Okay.
જય જીનેન્દ્ર, મોક્ષની પ્રાપ્તિ માટેનો કોઈ સરળ શોર્ટકટ ખરો અને જે સંસારમાં રહીને મોક્ષ પ્રાપ્ત
Right, I am very happy with this question.
સંસારમાં રહીને જો મોક્ષ પ્રાપ્ત કરવો હોય તો એ શક્ય છે કે પછી સંસાર ત્યાગીને સાધુત્વ પામ્યા પછી જ મોક્ષ મળે?
સાહેબ, આજના સમયમાં એ શક્ય છે. એનું કારણ એ છે કે આજે શું છે, આપણે જે વિચારીએ છીએ ને તે આપણે બોલી શકતા નથી અને બોલીએ છીએ તે આપણે કરી શકતા નથી. એટલે જે ત્યાગનો માર્ગ છે સંસાર છોડીને જવાનો એ ખોટો નથી, પણ આજે એ પુષ્ટિ કરીએ ને તો આપણને રિઝલ્ટ મળે એમ નથી. એટલે આજે વિજ્ઞાની એવા હાજર છે, તમે ભાવ કરો અને જો તમને મળી ગયું તો તમે ઘરમાં રહીને એ વિતરાગ વિજ્ઞાનની વિતરાગ પુરુષોએ જે ભજના આરાધના અને સાધના કરી તે તમે ઘરે બેઠા બેઠા કરી શકશો. કોઈને ખબર નહીં પડે, કોઈને ખબર નહીં પડે. ગેરંટી, ગેરંટી. પેલું કીધું ને, ધર્મનું ફળ ભાવનાથી છે, કેવળ જ્ઞાન ભાવનાથી છે. એટલે આ ભાવના કરો કે આવા વિજ્ઞાની મોક્ષદાતા પુરુષ જ્યાં હોય ત્યાં મારે એમને મળવું છે. આ ભાવના જ કામ કરશે.
Okay. Thank you, Deepak Anandji, for a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. So next on the agenda, we have a youth speaker. Her name is Supti Patel. She is